All right, let's get right into it. We're about to pull apart one of the most viral recipes on the entire internet, banana bread. But look, this isn't just about mashing up some fruit. We're going to break down the actual science that separates a perfect, moist, incredible loaf from, well, from a dense, sad little brick. You know what I'm talking about. We've all been there. You follow the recipe, you're full of hope, and you pull out something that one Reddit user perfectly called the Sahara Desert of banana bread. It's just dry, it's heavy, and it's the exact problem we're going to solve right now. But what if I told you there's a recipe so reliable, so genuinely fail-proof that it's been watched over 21 million times? Yeah, that's the number for Chef Shireen Povlita's recipe. It went viral for one simple reason: it fixes that Sahara Desert problem every single time. So what on earth makes it so different? To really get the solution, you have to understand the problem. And the reason most banana breads end up as doorstops, it actually comes down to what they fundamentally are in the baking world. And this, right here, is the whole game. A typical banana bread is a quick bread. You melt butter, dump it in, and hope for the best from your baking soda. The result? Usually dense. But the viral method? It completely flips the script. It treats banana bread like a quick cake. It uses solid, room-temperature fat to build an airy structure before you've even thought about the other ingredients. And that changes everything. So let's be super clear. This isn't just a shopping list. It's a precise formula. We're going to break down the exact components that make this thing work so well. And here it is, the Pavlidis standard. Now look at the precision here, especially the metric weights. We're talking 189 grams of flour, 173 grams of butter. This is not a scoop it and hope kind of recipe. Getting these weights right is literally the first step toward guaranteeing that perfect cake-like texture. Okay, before you even plug in your mixer, listen up. These conditions are, and I mean this, non-negotiable. Your butter absolutely has to be around 65 degrees Fahrenheit, that's 18 Celsius. It should feel cool, not soft, and definitely not melty. Same goes for your eggs, room temp. This isn't just a friendly suggestion, it's a hard and fast scientific requirement for what's about to happen next. And that brings us to the real secret sauce. The magic here isn't some fancy ingredient you have to hunt down. Nope, it's a specific scientific technique straight out of the cake-making playbook. So, what is it? What's the one single technique that makes people call this recipe fail-proof? Well, it all comes down to how you treat that butter and sugar. The technique is called mechanical leavening, and this is the absolute foundation of the entire recipe. You're using the sharp edges of the sugar crystals to literally whip through the butter, carving out and trapping thousands of microscopic air pockets. Think about that. You are building the final, fluffy texture of the bread with air before the flour is even in the picture. And here's exactly how you do it. You need that paddle attachment. You take your precisely 65-degree butter, add the brown sugar, and you're going to beat it on medium speed for a full 3 to 5 minutes. And please, scrape down the bowl. You stop only when it's visibly transformed, when it's pale, light, and looks fluffy. You are not just mixing, you are aerating. This shows you just how incredibly important that timing is. If you underdo it for just a minute, you get this clumpy, gritty mess that bakes up dense and squat. But if you go too long, say over 7 minutes, the whole thing breaks down. It gets greasy, and your beautiful loaf is going to collapse in the oven. That 3 to 5 minute window, that pale yellow, fluffy sweet spot, is the only way to get that perfect, airy results. So, you've done the hard part. You've built that perfect, airy foundation. The rest of the process is all about one thing: protecting that structure as you add everything else. First up, the emulsion. You add your room temperature eggs one at a time. Why? Because you're gently creating a stable mixture that locks in all those tiny air pockets you just worked so hard for. After the eggs are fully in, you'll mix in your mashed bananas and vanilla, and again, scrape that bowl to make sure it's all one happy, homogeneous family. And now, we've reached the place where so many baked goods go to die. So let me ask you, why is that final instruction, mix flour until just combined, the single most important rule in this whole process? The answer is one little word: gluten. The second flour meets liquid and you start mixing, you're developing gluten. That's exactly what you want for a chewy artisan bread, but it is an absolute disaster for a tender cake. You want to mix only until the last little streaks of flour disappear. A second longer, and you're actively destroying that light, airy structure, turning your would-be cake tough and chewy. Okay. The structure is built, the gluten is under control, all that's left is to hand it over to the oven and manage those final chemical reactions with heat. And again, the numbers are specific for a reason. 350 degrees Fahrenheit for 50 to 60 minutes. But really pay attention to the cooling part. That 10-minute rest in the hot pan lets the structure finish setting. And I know it's torture, but that full hour or two on the cooling rack is essential for moisture to redistribute. If you slice it while it's hot, you're going to have a gummy, collapsed mess. But how do you know, really know, when it's done? A toothpick can fool you. The only way to be absolutely certain is with an instant read thermometer. You're aiming for an internal temperature between 190 and 200 degrees Fahrenheit. That right there, that's your guarantee of a perfectly cooked loaf. No guesswork. And hey, if something does go a little sideways, here's your cheat sheet. Is your bread dense? You probably overmixed the flour, or maybe had too much banana. Is the top burning? Your oven's running hot. Just tent it with some foil. doesn't taste like much, your bananas weren't ripe enough. You need the really spotty ones. And if the center sinks after baking, sorry, it was undercooked. You gotta confirm that internal temp before you pull it. So if you only remember one thing from all of this, let it be this. A perfect cake-like banana bread isn't about the list of ingredients. It comes from the structure, a structure you painstakingly build with air and fat before the flour even enters the bowl. It's all about technique, not just tradition. Which really makes you think, right? If applying one scientific method can totally transform something as humble as banana bread, what other simple recipes in your kitchen, your cookies, your scones, your cupcakes, are just one single technique away from being absolutely perfect?